Hello and welcome back to Tiny Artist TV December Doodles Daily Challenge. So far I've been doing pretty good with keeping on track, and last video, instead of doing the numbers, I generated the prompts instead first, but that intro was a little long, so I'm going to go back to short, good old-fashioned number intro. So we'll start with the color palette and then the character will be revealed as I go on. So without further ado, let's get our numbers for today's video. The first one is number 4, and that is going to be strawberry jam. Sort of like a dark, Christmassy, more like a cranberry than like a red and green type situation happening with that one. Alright, character number 2 for today's video is going to be number 12, and I know you can't see it, I'll have the little blurb thing pop up there, but number 12, which is Dusty Apple. Well, this is a very like sweet Christmas cookie looking. I hope I get a character that kind of like lets me do that. Let's see, we'll go ahead and mark that. And character number 3 is number 14, which is Simba. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be, so we've got 2 Christmas characters and 1 outlier for today's video. Well, potentially, because it also is based on what type of character I generate. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those drawn up on my Draw It app and go ahead and get started. Our first character in the lineup for today's video is secretly a werewolf. They were raised by bards. Their special ability is that they're self-healing, which is something that's in a lot of werewolf mythology, so I don't know how much of a secret or how much, well, I guess it's, yeah, special skill, whatever. And they want to become a gladiator. I'd say that's a pretty effective use of your werewolf skills. The thing that stood out to me the most is that it feels like the opposite of the like football jock Americana parents who like end up raising like a nerd or an artist or like whatever stereotype you want to go with that's like the antithesis to the jock, whereas this is a jock who was raised by artists effectively. So yeah, I just think that's kind of cute, and a little subversive as far as like, you know, the typical story that we get, especially since bards they're a little mischievous, but werewolves are typically kind of depicted as like bullies. Granted, in more recent pieces of media, werewolves are supposed to be, I guess, more misunderstood, but maybe this is like someone who understood that, like, you know what, my hands are sometimes just a little too strong to finesse this properly, you know? Like, you guys play concerts at night. Me in the night, we don't always get along, but night fights, that's something I can hang with. So yeah, maybe that's where this character got the motivation to become a gladiator. It's like, you know what, growing up in a family of musicians is all nice and all, but it's not for me, and that's okay. At first I thought character number 2 was a little bit of a strange one, a little on the nose. Their caregiver was a barber. I may incorporate that a little bit more into their overall look, but the main things I want to focus on are they're an orphan, and it's their secret that they're an orphan, which is like, how would that be a secret? Like, you would know that your parents are either dead or missing, especially considering that their motivation is to avenge their family. It's giving Batman, and I love that, especially since this character's special skill, they can talk to animals. Now, Batman's whole thing is that he was terrified of bats, and so like he kind of became the bat to overcome that fear, but I feel like this character talks to animals because the animals know what happened. So the animals are going to help him avenge his family. But it's so strange that, like, or maybe the secret is that, like, they have an orphan child, but it literally just says orphan child, so it's kind of up for interpretation. So I'm going to interpret it that this character is an orphan out to avenge their family and has been raised by a barber. Oh, maybe the barber did it. Maybe we're dealing with another Sweeney Todd type situation. Oh, juicy. Our final character for today's video, which is character number 89, I believe, because the last one we ended with 86, so yes, this is 87, 88, and this is character number 89. I've decided to make this character a gnome. So in D&D lore, gnomes experience or can experience what's called the bleaching, which is basically if they go for a prolonged period where they don't experience new things or like going out into the world and adventuring and just, you know, constantly they constantly have to have like that dopamine rush, or else like they, you know, once they start getting like bored and settled, they go through the bleaching and they lose their color, and it's a whole thing. So this character was raised by a stable master, which is pretty exciting, and maybe it's a traveling stable, so they get plenty of excitement through that way. And in the future, which they can see, and they can see that it's a wonderful time. They get to meet all kinds of people, hear all kinds of stories, go to different kinds of like craft beer fairs and events and all kinds of festivals and whatnot. So they want to open a tavern. However, they have a social phobia. How, like, playing a character like this would be so interesting, just because, like, that's something that, with the gnomes having the bleaching in mind, but having that social phobia, like, so you have these two things that are just, like, grinding against you internally. Like, this is literally like the two wolves inside of you. One wants to explore the world, the other is literally xenophobic. And so it's kind of well, maybe it's not xenophobia, maybe it's just like anxiety. The word I was actually looking for was agoraphobia or agoraphobic, to an nth degree, but something that wants to like keep you away from people. But then there's also something inside of you that, like, you have to be around people, you have to get outside in order to literally live. That would be a really fun character to play out. But for now, we'll just draw it, and here it is. So naturally that brings us to the end of today's drawings, which are characters 87, 88, and 89. I do have a little announcement at the end of this video, so normally this would be the part where I say, peace out, have a weird day, whatever, but I would like to make an amendment to the December challenge. So, here's that special announcement. Hello viewership. If you've made it to this point in the video, thank you, because I know most of you don't watch all the way through, but for those of you who do, thanks. So I will also be making this announcement at the beginning of the video that people also skip, so maybe most of you will get this. I am making a change to the December Daily Doodles Color Palette Challenge in that it will no longer be a daily Doodles challenge. Just cut and dry. Your girl is tired. I don't know why I thought one person could tackle the work of effectively 4 people every day between other things I have going on, and that's kind of the main crux of what, you know, catalyzed this change, was that I just have too much going on in my life away from the computer to realistically do this every day without risking my mental and physical health. So It'll still be December Doodles, it just won't be daily December Doodles. So tomorrow's video, I'll still work on it. I'll get as much done as possible, but it'll go up when it goes up. And I am making pretty good progress as far as the characters go, but I have to take a step back. And like I said, I'll still be working on this for the duration of December, but it'll get done when it gets done. Because, yes, I don't know why I thought I could tackle a project this big by myself. And I'm sorry if this is disappointing to anybody, but I highly doubt anyone is holding me to any sort of expectations at this point. So again, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for continuing to watch and subscribe, and give me reasons and inspiration to be creative. So I will try to do my best to end this series on a high note, but for now, I'll see you guys later. Have a weird day.